Blackwood Manor stood on a hill, its silhouette stark against the twilight sky. Overlooking the village below, the manor seemed to watch over the inhabitants like a silent guardian. The moon hung high above, casting an eerie, silvery glow upon the crumbling structure, making the shadows dance and flicker as if alive. The old house, abandoned for years, was more than just a collection of bricks and timber. It was a relic of a bygone era, a silent witness to the passage of time. Inside, the manor was a vessel of forgotten memories, of whispers and shadows, of secrets buried deep within its heart. The air was thick with the scent of decay and the weight of untold stories. For generations, stories about Blackwood Manor had been passed down, each tale more haunting than the last, painting a picture of a house that was very much alive in its own right. Tales whispered by the fireplace, each more chilling than the last. The villagers spoke of strange noises, ghostly apparitions, and an overwhelming sense of dread that seemed to emanate from the manor. Some spoke of a family driven to madness within those walls, their minds unraveling under the weight of the manor's dark influence. Others told of a malevolent entity that haunted the house, a shadowy figure that lurked in the corners, watching and waiting. No one dared to approach the manor, until now. A new chapter was about to unfold, as the whispers of Blackwood Manor beckoned once more, drawing the curious and the brave into its dark embrace.
You're not actually scared, are you, Amy? No, it's just an old house.
No, it's just an old house.
Maybe we should just go. It's getting late.
The rusted gate creaked open with a groan, its hinges protesting against the intrusion. The sound was almost human, a mournful cry that seemed to echo through the still night air. The gate's lament seemed to echo the sentiment of the ancient house that loomed ahead, its once grand facade now a canvas of decay and neglect. The peeling paint and broken windows told stories of a time long past, of lives once lived within its walls. Each step towards the manor was a step closer to the unknown, a journey into the heart of mystery and fear. The path was overgrown, the stones beneath their feet uneven and treacherous, as if the very ground sought to dissuade them from their quest. The friends moved cautiously, their hearts pounding in their chests. It was a journey fueled by a potent mix of youthful bravado and gnawing fear, each step a test of their courage. The mist that clung to the ground swirled around their ankles, adding to the eerie atmosphere. The overgrown garden, a tangle of weeds and thorns, seemed to reach out, eager to reclaim the trespassers. The plants, long untended, had grown wild and unruly, their twisted forms casting sinister shadows in the moonlight. It was as if the garden itself was alive, a guardian of the secrets that lay within the house. A sudden gust of wind rustled the leaves of the ancient oak tree that stood sentinel by the porch. The tree, gnarled and weathered by time, seemed to whisper secrets of the past, its branches swaying like skeletal arms in the breeze. The wind carried with it a whispered warning, a plea to turn back before it was too late. It was a sound that sent shivers down their spines, a reminder of the dangers that lay ahead. But the friends, driven by curiosity and a sense of adventure, pressed on. Their eyes were fixed on the house, its dark silhouette a beacon in the night. Their shadows stretched long and distorted behind them, a visual representation of their inner turmoil. Each step brought them closer to the truth and to the fear that awaited them within the rusted jaws of the ancient manor. The air inside was thick with the smell of decay, a musty aroma of neglect and forgotten things. Dust motes danced in the faint moonlight that filtered through the grimy windows. Each creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves against the windows, sent shivers down their spines. As they ventured deeper into the house, the shadows seemed to deepen, twisting and turning in the dim light. Whispers, soft and indistinct, seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. They couldn't discern the words, but the tone was undeniably menacing.
Did you hear that?
In what was once the drawing room, they found a heavy oak desk, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust. The room, once filled with laughter and life, now stood as a silent testament to the passage of time. Cobwebs hung like ghostly curtains from the ceiling, and the air was thick with the scent of decay. The windows, long unwashed, allowed only slivers of moonlight to penetrate the gloom, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. A single book lay open, its pages yellowed with age. The cover was worn and cracked, hinting at countless years of neglect. It seemed out of place, almost as if it had been deliberately left there for someone to find. The pages, though fragile, were filled with dense handwritten text, each word meticulously crafted.
Unable to resist the allure of the unknown, Lucas reached out and brushed the dust away with his sleeve. His heart raced with a mix of fear and excitement. What secrets did this ancient tome hold? As he cleared the dust, the title of the book became visible. Written in an elegant, almost regal script, it read, "The Ledger of the Damned." It was a ledger of some sort, its pages filled with names scrawled in an elegant, spidery hand. Each name seemed to pulse with a life of its own, as if the very ink was imbued with some dark magic. The names were written in various languages, some of which Lucas couldn't even recognize. It was as if this book had traveled through time and space, collecting the names of the damned from every corner of the earth. But what chilled them to the bone was the ink. It wasn't the faded black or brown of time, but a vibrant, almost fresh crimson. Blood. The realization hit them like a physical blow. This was no ordinary ledger. It was a record of souls, each name written in the blood of the damned. The room seemed to grow colder, and an oppressive silence filled the air. It wasn't the faded black or brown of time, but a vibrant, almost fresh crimson. Blood. The ink seemed to shimmer in the dim light, as if it was still wet. Lucas could almost feel the malevolent energy emanating from the pages. It was as if the book itself was alive, feeding off the fear and curiosity of those who dared to open it.
"This is messed up," Jason muttered, his voice barely a whisper. He took a step back, as if the ledger itself held some unseen danger. His eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of movement. The oppressive atmosphere weighed heavily on him, and he could feel the cold tendrils of fear wrapping around his heart. He wanted to leave, to run as far away from this cursed place as possible, but something held him there, rooted to the spot.
The air grew colder, and the whispers seemed to grow louder, swirling around them like a malevolent wind. The very walls seemed to close in, and the shadows grew darker, more menacing. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding off their fear. The whispers were unintelligible, but their tone was unmistakable, malevolent, mocking, and filled with an ancient, unending hunger. The group knew they had to leave, but the allure of the ledger was too strong. It was a Pandora's box, and they had already opened it. A cold hand brushed against Rachel's neck. She screamed, a high-pitched sound that echoed through the empty house. The others spun around, their faces pale with terror. There, standing in the doorway, was a shadowy figure, its features obscured by the darkness.
Let's get out of here.
Amy shrieked, her voice raw with panic. She turned and ran, her footsteps pounding on the wooden floor. The others followed, their fear lending them speed. The figure in the doorway did not move, but its presence was like a weight on their chests, suffocating them. The front door, which had creaked open so easily just moments ago, was now shut tight. They rattled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. They were trapped. Panic clawed at their throats, choking their breaths. The shadowy figure was closing in, its presence growing stronger with each passing second.
It's no use, we're stuck.
Lucas threw his weight against the door, but it wouldn't give. His words were met with a chorus of panicked cries. The shadows seemed to press in on them, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. The temperature plummeted, and a cold wind whipped through the house, extinguishing their only source of light. They huddled together, their backs against the wall, their eyes wide with terror, straining to see in the darkness. The air crackled with unseen energy. Then, in the darkness, 2 points of light appeared. They floated in the air, cold and malevolent, like the eyes of a predator stalking its prey. The whispers reached a crescendo, swirling around them like a vortex of fear. The next morning, the sun rose over the village, casting its warm rays on the dew-kissed grass. Blackwood Manor stood on the hill, silent and still. The rusted gate hung open, inviting and menacing at the same time. The villagers found the motorbike abandoned by the gate. But of the four friends, there was no sign. They were never seen or heard from again. The whispers, however, remained. They echoed through the empty halls of Blackwood Manor, a chilling reminder that some doors are better left unopened, some secrets better left buried.